Hey everybody, imagine you had a drawer like this. Mine's a little beat up, maybe not beat up compared to normal beat up, but we've been using this for years. But imagine your drawers look like this. And you can have this. This is my only sales pitch to you. Click the link in the description, go sign up. Every dollar you spend gets you an entry into winning your own personal garage. We'll do a Nussbaum lift, we'll do Dynaudio speakers, Rupes polishers, whatever you want. We're gonna set it up. Mike and I are gonna fly. Well, actually first we're gonna fly you to us, and then we're gonna fly to you, and we're going to cut your drywall and run some plumbing and do the electrical, do everything we need to do to make your garage look and feel like mine. Actually, yours will probably be even better. So go get entered to win. The giveaway ends January 15th. We'll draw the winner a couple of days later and change somebody's life. So make sure you get signed up. Hey everyone, welcome back to my garage. Oh man, I can't hear. I've been sick today is day 7. I guess today's the 8th day. I finally have to get off the darn couch. It's like 8 o'clock at night and get out here and play with my bike. I've got all these parts that I've ordered. On the last video we talked about I was gonna order a bunch of them and start modifying it, getting it set up the way I like. And I was able to get out and ride it the day after the last video I made on the mountain bike. This is my Santa Cruz Blur full kitted, so it's the full out of the box version of Santa Cruz. I think the sticker on, what is it, like 11.2 or something like that. I absolutely love it. I've been riding an XL my whole life. I am a large, and so I'm a tweener. I'm 6'2", about 2, usually, so right now I'm around 220, 218, something like that. I want to try to get this year, one of my New Year's goals would be to get down to 200 and see what that feels like for the first time in many years. But I did ride the bike with the Wreckin' Races, the super lightweight tires. I actually really like them. But today's video is about modifying and doing some things that are gonna probably trigger some of you hardcore mountain bikers. Remember, I'm in Central Florida. I'm not jumping. I'm doing this mainly for cardio. I did buy a full kitted high tower for the mountains, the baby mountains, the Appalachian Mountains, for my house in Helen. So I'm gonna do a bit more downhill riding in the future. But this bike is set up for us to go out, do 20, 30 miles as fast as I can possibly do it. We're twisting and turning on trails, not really downhilling. And so these race tires might make sense, but I did buy the first thing for this bike, which I'm second guessing on now. I did buy some tires. I bought in Assad. Let's see, how do we pronounce this? Let's do this right so we don't have to do this for all video. Assagai. So this is going to go in the front, and then this Minion DHR2 is going to go in the rear. And so that's the combination. I sat there and obsessed for hours and hours. I wanted a 2.5 in the front and a 2.4 in the rear. This has 2.4, 2.4. And so I feel a little bit more confident with a little wider tire in the front. And so I'm gonna do the 2.5 WT in the front and sort of test that out. But these two tires are a full it was like 640 grams, which is what, 1.3-ish pounds heavier. Now, I'm splitting hairs here because this bike, and I'm gonna get the scale out and see what this bike weighs in its current state and see how much I add or subtract to it. I know I'm splitting hairs over weight. I could just lose a pound or two off of me, but I don't know, it's kind of fun to have a light bike and it's kind of fun to pursue it. So we may or may not do the tires. I have to decide. Maybe you guys in the comments, I may not do the tires here today in this video because I may wait to see what you guys tell me. The last video, super helpful, lots of comments you guys made. Turned me on to a lot of different cool things. Like for example, I didn't know they had an Axis, that they had a wireless dropper post. I don't need a dropper on this bike. I don't want a dropper on this bike, but I do want a dropper on my high tower, which is coming. And so I will probably do that wireless dropper on that. So we'll get there. So this bike is getting an NV. This is an NV 31.6 millimeter. This is a carbon seat post. So I'm going to take the dropper off. I'm going to take the dropper control off. I'm going to take the wiring out. That will drop a decent amount of weight, and I'm going to set this at the height I like and leave it. Set it, forget it. I've got some friction paste for the carbon to connect the carbon post here, and we'll set that up like so. And so the seat will be fixed in fixed position. It'll stay there. Again, for the riding I'm doing here, one of these days I'm going to take my GoPro out and show you the riding we do here. It makes sense. And then somebody turned me on to this concept. So these are 760 millimeter bars, I think. 760s. 7 millimeter rise. No offset, I don't think. Just a little bit of rise. So this has a 30-degree offset and has 9 degrees of sweep. So, 7 millimeter rise, 30 millimeter rise. So I feel like I'm a little hunched over, even though it is a large frame. I feel like I'm a little too XC set up on this. This is the trail version of the bike, the TR version. So I feel like I'm a little hunched over. I don't want to sit up like a goof. But I understand the whole point of being wider and kind of, loosening up your grip and all that. I get all that. But I just feel like there's so much weight transfers. I'm still top heavy. So much weight transfers to my elbows. And so I'm going to try this greater 9-degree sweep. And this is a Ritchey bar. And this is a 710. So I'm going to take the bars down from 760 to 710. Which I don't know why this doesn't look like a whole lot of millimeter difference. I guess there it is, yeah. So there's 50 millimeters difference. So we're taking off, 2 inches, 2.54 centimeters per. So I'm going to take off, a couple of inches off the bar, see how that feels. The other thing that somebody turned me on to the idea is if you buy, say, 800 millimeter bars and you cut them down to 710, the bars were designed with some tolerance, but you can end up with a harsh ride if you end up with bars that were designed to flex and adjust based on 800 millimeters and you cut them down to 700 millimeters. I think I'd be better off starting with bars that were 700 millimeters, cutting and trimming that a bit if necessary. And for the type of riding I'm doing, I think on my high tower, I'll just suck it up because I'll be climbing a lot more. I'll suck it up and deal with wider bars because I won't have as much weight transferring on my, I won't be hunched over for just pedaling miles. At least this is how my logic's going. Feel free to correct me in the comments if you'd like. And then I got an NV stem as well. So I did a 65 millimeter stem, carbon fiber, complete waste of money, but it's freaking sweet. So NV stem on Ritchey bars to replace the Santa Cruz bars with, what stem does this bike have? I think it's a Atmos 7. And then I bought Industry 9 spacers to get rid of these plastic fake carbon fiber ones. I think that's just gonna look a little better. I've already done the pedals, so I'm 220. These are supposedly only rated for 200 pounds, but because I'm not jumping, I think I'm gonna be fine. Maybe doing some little bit of bunny hopping every so often, but I've always wanted the Stamp 11s for Crank Brothers, and so these you're paying $100 for like 30 grams or something like that. But the purpose of this bike is to go light. Of course, I could have done a hardtail. I'm not very comfortable on the bikes, so I prefer to have full suspension, even though this is a trail setup, and I'll probably keep the cage off the bike. I did buy one of those, what's the brand called? I'll look it up before we finish, where it snaps off and doesn't have a regular bottle cage. So I think let's start with the handlebars and let's kind of work through it, see where we're at. Let me check the weight on this thing first. All right, current weight of the bike with the bike computer and everything on it is 25.9 pounds. It feels so much lighter than that, but it's 25 pounds. So we'll see what we take off this sucker. I think I'll start with taking the seat post off. So let's take that off and we'll see where we're at. All right, let's take this sucker out of here. So one of the things I'd like a suggestion if you guys can turn me on to this, or maybe someone wants to volunteer, somebody has a lot of experience with bike mechanics. What I'd like to do is buy a full like park tool and you know, whatever other tools, and then either go to a bike school, like a full week school, or maybe even convince somebody to come here, and I'll pay for your airfare and your hotel, and maybe actually maybe what I need to do is put this down. Because otherwise the cable's gonna get in the way. No. And then I'd like to become a proficient bike mechanic. I think that could be freaking useful in life. I'm gonna have to take, like for example, I don't know what I'm doing at the moment, taking this stuff apart. I've taken one dropper post off in my life, and I don't remember how I did it. I just start taking parts and pieces off the bike. We'll figure out where we end up at the end, but it'd be nice to actually know what you're doing, especially working on these fancy bikes. I really like this bike though, man. I was by far the fastest I've ever been. It feels right to me. The size feels right, the geometry feels correct. I have some more setup to do on the suspension. It felt a little harsh, the way that I'd set it up, so I think I need to set a little bit more sag up. So some of you had made some suggestions on that. Interested and wanting to come hang out with me for a few days. Or if you can just suggest a school for me to go to, I'd be grateful for that idea. All right, sorry about that. I turned the camera off, but it took me a minute. All I had to do was just pop this screw off here, and then pop the stay off the wire, which fell on the ground somewhere, and then just pulled it through. So I'm an idiot thinking I could pull this out and detach it from the seat. That's another option, but because of the way the cable was set up through, I could have pulled some slack through and pulled it up and taken it off the seat here. But instead, I removed the cable from this, and we're good to go. So I'm gonna put the new seat on. All right, I love this Specialized Phenom. Is my favorite seat. This makes me, having this $300 seat post, makes me want to get the fancy version of this, which saves a few grams. But we got this set up here. I'm gonna put some carbon paste on here so it won't slide back in, and that's looking pretty sharp there, peoples. Gosh, that's clean. I like that look. I know you guys, you true mountain bikers don't like that look, but I like it. I really dig it. All right. So I have see, I'm not a total idiot when it comes to this stuff. SAC2, which is the carbon and alloy assembly compound. I'll put a little bit of that on here. Oops, nope. I gotta shake it up. It's been sitting a long time. Always shake your chemicals, people. Let's try that again. So this has a little bit of grippiness in it. To help keep the carbon from sliding. I don't know what's an appropriate amount, so that looks pretty good. These are all the things I'd like to learn. Is what's the proper technique? What's the proper amounts? What's the proper way to do it? Let's see, the seat's probably somewhere around that part. I can kind of see, I didn't take a look at where my position was. It's right at the P. Looks pretty good, actually. I'm in the ballpark. See, I think that looks so good. Clean. The only thing that would look better would be a Kashimi coated dropper. All right, the seat looks pretty level. We'll have to play with that a little bit, but just check our torque spec here. 5.5 Newton meters. All right, let me go test out my seat position height. I'll have to further refine it, but at least gives me a baseline. I already love having one less wire on there. I love that. Looks good, man, look at that. Super good. It's a clean looking setup right there, bros. Might be just a hair, no. That looks pretty good. Just a hair nose down. No. That's pretty spot on. Okay, cool. That's a good guess. Well, my dropper post reduction dreams aren't all that fruitful. 0.3 pounds. So what is that? 16 ounces times 0.3, 4.8 ounces is what it took off the bike. All right, I'm back, everybody. Sorry. Yesterday I tried. I was 7-8 days into full flu, not good, not feeling great. And so I came out here for 15 minutes or so yesterday, put the seat on, and tried to work with you, and I just gave up. So anyway, let's get back to work here. And got a couple of cough drops in. Let me chew these up. And let's keep our conversation going. So I've been thinking about this. Some of you experts maybe can help me on this pursuit. So these are Reserve 28. And then I have the new, what do they call, Fillmore valves, which are freaking sweet. But I've had my heart set on a set of Industry 9. Shoot, I can't remember the model, but by the time I was done with it with ceramic bearings, I think they were like $3,050 for a set of bicycle wheels. And then I went into my Friday reports from my leadership team, and my COO always provides me with cash, where we're at cash-wise. And I just closed on a big building and had to make down payments and all that. And seeing money vaporized, I canceled my cart and said, I already have these expensive Reserve 28s. I'd be stupid to put some crazy Industry 9 tires on this thing, or wheels on this thing. And so I canceled that for now. But I wondered what your thoughts were. I was going to do either a silver spoke and hub. I'm really interested in the Industry 9, the Hydra, the hub, which I think would be really freaking cool to have. Maybe these bars aren't quite as bad. They just don't feel right. These grips, these ESI grips, I think are terrible. The bike shop has them and they freaking love them. So we'll put a little bit of paste on the new bars. But let's take the headset off here. I think I have to take the headset cap off. Let's take these. These are T25s, not T20s. But yeah, so I've been eyeballing those wheels for quite some time. What do you guys think about those? I think that'd be a pretty sweet thing to get. So what I'll do is we'll pull the headset off. We'll put the new Industry 9 spacers on, and then we'll put the new stem on. But I'm gonna wait and see what cash looks like here coming up. So right now, I feel like I'm broke. If you didn't watch the video, if you're a mountain bike guy, maybe you don't care about this, but I think if you like building and buildings and real estate and stuff, check out the latest video on the channel where I introduce everybody to my latest project, which is a 26,000 square foot monster property that is going to become Obsessed Garage headquarters. So this will all drop out. So what I want to do, I want to bring this down, the face of this down, get the wheel on the ground. That'll keep my headset in place here. I thought I could just, there we go. Let's bring this down a little further. Lock the frame in place. This is a Cane Creek AER headset, which should be nice. So I'm going to take this off. I'm going to take our new Envy. Let's put some spacers in place here. Large spacer. I'm going to have to bring this back up into position here. I think all three of these spacers might make sense. I mean, you mechanics are probably screaming your head off right now saying, dude, there's a much better way to do this. That's why I would like to go to a mechanic school. So you guys, so I could learn how to do this properly. Where did my, let's see what that looks like. Shoot. Let's let me slide this scale underneath here. So yeah, I'm starting to really get into this whole figuring out bikes, and I would love to build my own, you know, in the future, rather than always relying on just buying a kitted out bike. But you know, the big manufacturers seem to do a pretty good job. I guess Santa Cruz is now in that camp of a larger manufacturer. So this is going to sit like so. Yeah, this is much bigger, so I'm not going to need so much spacing. So let's take this larger middle spacer out. Let's see how that fits. That's pretty good. I think I need a little tiny spacer. Perfect. Okay. So we'll get that lined up roughly. Let's put our top piece back on. Nope. I'm gonna need a little bit more. I don't think I need carbon paste, but I'm gonna put some on here just to be safe. So can you help me out in the comments there? Do I need carbon paste on a stem? Because this here, I don't believe is carbon. So this needs to come up. What did I need it to do? It needed to come up a bit. So I'm gonna put that larger spacer in here. The large and then small. Let's put a little bit of carbon paste on here. Carbon lube, what do we call this? Carbon assembly compound, that's what we call it. I'm gonna get my nomenclature right. I'm pumped that I'm finally feeling better after having the darn flu. I wanna go ride, man, I'm ready. I'm gonna get my group together, go ride this thing. Like I said, I think I'm gonna ride. I'm gonna take a few more cracks at these wrecking races because they felt freaking fast, man. I mean, there's a bunch of news all at once. New bike, new size, new brand, new drivetrain, new tires. So I've got a lot of new adjustments to the suspension. So I've got a lot of news going on here to figure out what's what. But at first glance, the ride was pretty freaking sick, and I think the tires may have had something to do with that. Let's open this up a bit more now that we got a little friction. I might have shaved another 10 grams off the bike with this fancy carbon fiber deal. Now I'm going to want to turn these spacers out front, I think. I don't know if they'll shift. I also need to turn the Cane Creek head. Straighten that out. Let's get everything back in alignment here. Oh, I didn't realize it has a logo on both sides. You freaking idiot. That looks pretty good. So if you didn't watch the bike prep video, this bike is coated. So I coated the bike. I washed it before doing this video here today. Not sure what the torque spec is on this top plate here, but let's give it a little gusto. I'll check the torque spec on that in a minute. Yeah, that looks good. The Industry 9s line up. These hand tighten, these need to be 5.5 Newton meters again. Ratchet here, this is a sonic ratchet. Set to 5.5 Newton meters. Okay, now these guys are going to go in here. So these are 31 millimeter bars, not 35s. So what are they, 31.8? I may try 35s at some point, but I couldn't find a 35 millimeter bar, diameter bar that was shorter than 800. It was carbon and lightweight and nice. I'm sure it exists. Just I didn't do exhaustive research, but I did some. I don't think you need assembly paste on here because of the friction element, but let me just put a little lube on there just to be safe. Actually, it'd be smarter to put it on here. So I've got a long way to go. Figure out what bars I like, what size I like, all that stuff. I've always, again, just ridden whatever the bike came with. This is my first time tweaking, probably making it way worse. Wasting money, but that's the fun part. Brakes are squeaking a little. I need to do a little brake adjustment as well. That I do know how to do, I think. Okay, we do have it centered up here. Let's pull this back up now that our headset is back together. Hey, that looks pretty. I like it. Bring my bars like so. Ooh, I like that look. That looks good. I think I'm really gonna dig these bars. Kind of like the setup just like that. Got my grips in position. Like these are identical. They should have one where it points down, but then my grip is in the wrong spot. So it has to go like this. So one pointing up, one pointing down. I don't love that look, but that's what we got. Temporarily set that. Okay, let's put this down on the ground. Ooh, I think I really dig how this looks. I don't know how it's gonna ride, but it looks good. Yeah, oh yeah. Let's get my brakes in position. Whew, this is good. My grips in position first. Man, I love these grips. This needs to come in. Let me set my grips here. I'll set these first. Boom. Locked. Okay, that looks good. I like the handlebar feel. Just set the position of these. I want to bring this all the way over. Position of money right there. I like this position, so whatever that one is. 7/8. Boom. That was great. All right, let me go test her out. All right, I freaking love it. Now I just need to adjust the brake here, because we are rubbing city. It's kind of hard to see. There's 4 pistons in a weird position. I can't get as good of a line of sight down the brake rotor here. Let's see where we're at. Making it worse before I make it better. All right, got it all set up, got the brakes adjusted. I'm finishing up the computer software update. This is my old Edge 1030, so I'm doing a full software update, which I don't think I've ever done, so it's taken a while to do that. I like the position of this. Obviously, we'll make some more tweaks. All your suggestions in the comments, thanks for those. And interested again on your take on Industry 9 wheels and the setup I have on the bike. I loved some of your suggestions of things. I bought all this stuff before reading the comments, but I found you guys were super helpful, and some of you guys have been riding for years and years and have been building bikes and doing mechanics. I'd love to know, where would you suggest, what school do you suggest I go to? How long do you think I would need? I'd love to learn, hydraulic brake adjustment and setup. I'd love to learn, basic bike maintenance, as well as, setting up and adjusting, like SRAM Access or GX or whatever, learning how to do derailleur and gear adjustment, doing, new crank hubs, truing wheels, stuff like that. So, I'd love to learn best practices and, suspension setup techniques, stuff like that. So I did do my initial baseline tweak of the suspension. I do find that running a more open rebound setting seemed to be a bit better, and I like that a bit better. And I think I have some more work to do. I wasn't in love with how the bike felt suspension-wise on my last ride, but I'll keep taking my my frame pump out there and keep working on it. Let's go jump in the driveway, see how it feels. All right, let's take a little closer look at my Ritchey WCS 710 millimeter handlebar setup with a 30-degree offset and 9-degree rake, however you call it. So I like that setup. I got my SRAM Access controller all the way positioned all the way to the left, and then my level ultimate brakes got set up, and then the 1030 computer just got all the software update connected to my phone, connected to the SRAM system so I can see what gear and stuff I'm in. These are the Stamp 11 pedals, and of course the new Envy carbon seat post that some of you may or may not agree with, but it works for me for this bike. We'll do dropper stuff on my downhill bike or downhill-ish bike. And I think I'm gonna keep these wheels, leave them alone. Let's go tool around in the driveway and see how this thing feels. Come on, buddy. Wanna check out my new bike with me? Man, that's a good looking bike now. Oh, we gotta check our weight. See how much weight I took off in total. Oh yeah. I think my seat position feels pretty good. We'll have to play with that a bit. Yeah, I mean, these tires do feel good, man. I think I may want... The computer feels a little upright. I'm gonna bring that down. Man, the brake adjustment helped. So I'm not grinding. My grips feel tight. Yeah, I think this width of handlebars feels good. My position feels good. I think I'm gonna be fast on this guy. Let's check our weight on this. Sure. I think my bar position, I feel like my wheel needs to turn a bit. I need to move the headset a bit. Yeah, let me loosen this up. Let's check our weight and we'll ride this weekend. 24.3 pounds. So what did I say it was? 24.9. So we lost 0.6 of a pound. So 10 ounces or so. Not bad. See you on the next one. Thanks for all your suggestions.